Hello everybody. Today I am going to guide you on how to use MySQL, and we will start this video by the installation of MySQL. We will search on Google MySQL install and then we will click on the first link, and now you can see I will download the 354 MB file, and it's asking for login sign up or no thanks, just start my download. You can click on any option as you like. I will click on login. I have my user ID saved up already. Now I will click on download now. As you can see, the process of download has started, and we will wait till it gets fully downloaded. Now you can see our MySQL has downloaded. Now we will just go to it and we will start the installation process by clicking on it. It's preparing to install. Now we will click on yes. We will click on yes again. And now you can see MySQL installer has started. And now we will click on full installation and we will click on execute. As you can see, our download installation process has started, and we will wait until all of these installation processes are complete. As you can see, all of the installation processes have been completed. Now I will click on next. Now I'll click on next, and I will click on next, and I'll click on next. And this is the most important part. This is the root password and we should never forget it. So I will keep it simple. And next and next. And we will click on execute. And we will wait till all of these things are executed. As you can see, all of these processes have been executed, and I will click on finish, and we will just click on next, and we will click on finish and next, and we will put the password again and we will check it's correct, and now we'll click on next and we will execute, and this will take some time. Let us wait. And now it has executed. Now finish, next, and we will finish it. As you can see, the workbench has started, and you can see a local instance MySQL 80 root has already been created. And we will click on this. It will ask for our password, and we can save it in the vault so we don't have to put it again and again, and we'll click on OK. And as you can see, and now we will guide you slowly in the whole video. Now I will guide you with the home tab. As you can see, here are a lot of connections on the display. This was the connection built by default, and now I will show you how to create a new connection. We will click on this plus icon, and as you can see, here are all the details we can put for establishing a connection. And this connection can be on your local server or it can be locally on your laptop or PC. And it can also be a server outside of your computer and outside of your local environment. And here on the connection name tab, you can name your connection. I will name it try connection. Okay. Here is the connection methods, and this will be varying according to your needs. Here are the parameters, SSL and advanced, and these will be filled according to the type of database connection you are establishing. Here is the host name, port, root, and here is the password you can set up. So when you store this password, you don't have to enter it again and again. Okay. And if you have some security purposes, you can leave this empty. And this is the default schema, and I will press OK. And you can see here is the try connection made it. Or now if you want to edit connections on your desktop or in your home tab, you can click on this setting option, And now you can delete a connection. Here is the try connection. If I want, I can delete it, and I can create a new connection if I want. I can duplicate a connection, and I can move up a connection. At the moment I clicked on duplicate, the new connection which was built got duplicated, and I can move up here. If I show you, if I close it here, you can see new connection is on top, and I can move it down also. Click on new connection, and I can move it down as much as I want. So hit there were the things you can do on your home tab. And one thing I forgot to tell you is that when you can click on test connection before establishing a connection, you can see all the details you have to do and check, and you can test it, and if it feels okay and it shows no error, you can build it. Now I can show you how to also delete a connection. I will click on delete. You can see new connection deleted, and I will close. Here you can see, and now we will go to the overview of a UI. Now I will be giving you the basic overview of the UI you are seeing. So this is the administration section, and this is the section you will be using when you are really advanced, and majority of the time you will not use this administration section. And maybe you use administration section, depends on the type of the job you are doing, but for the majority of the people they will not be using this that much. So now we will come to the schemas tab. Now let me just give you the slight overview and continue with that. Here is the title bar which contains a lot of the menus like file, edit, view, query, database, server, tools, scripting, help, and etc. And now, okay, now this is the output panel. In this output panel, whenever you execute a query, this will be shown here. And this will show the time it took to execute the query, and it will show you the number of rows which were affected, and it will show you what was the action, and it will show you the time that you executed query. Okay, and these are the buttons you can use and click if you want to hide certain panels. If I can click here, this panel will be hidden. Output panel hidden, output panel came back, and SQL edition panels hidden, and SQL edition panel came back. And the majority of the work which you will be doing in will be in this editor pane. And in this editor pane, you will be writing all the SQL queries that you want to write. And this is schemas. Schemas is actual name for databases used in MySQL. And these are all the databases that we got in default. And here you can see, if I open this, these are the collections of tables, views, and everything. Now I will tell you about this SQL additions tab. As you can see, it is currently disabled, but we will click on this icon, toggle automatic context help, and we will enable it. As you can see, it is now enabled, and the use of this is the moment I will type any SQL query, and I will click on it, hover on it, it will show me the documentation of that query. And it is pretty useful when you are learning about SQL or you get stuck on something. You can just open up the documentation about that particular query, and it is pretty useful, and it saves a lot of time. Now I will tell you how to create schemas. It's pretty easy. You can directly click on this cylinder button with plus icon, or you can right click and click here. I will just go with this, and now it will ask what should be the name of schema. I will tell you test. I am creating schema to tell you that to work with a database you also need to create one, and maybe when you connect to a server it may have a lot of database previously created, but I'm just telling you how to create a schema. I will name it test, and I will click on apply. This is showing me which SQL script will be run when I create a schema, and you can also create schemas by writing this SQL query, and I will click apply. Now you can see here a test schema has created. Now I will explain you these toolbars. Query toolbar it is called. This button will open a script file in this editor. Just imagine you already have a SQL file you want to execute and you have saved it somewhere. You can open it from here and you can execute it. And this will, whenever I want to write some SQL queries, or whenever I write some SQL queries and I want to export it as a SQL file, I will write some queries here on the editor, and I will export them by clicking on this icon. And this button executes all the SQL queries written, and this button executes all the SQL queries which are selected. And and this button opens a panel like this and explains the plan in which the SQL queries will be committed. And this button stops particular SQL queries to commit. When a SQL query is in progress to execute, it will stop that. So this button is used for that. And this toggle, it is in this form, like a red button or a green arrow. And when it is in a red button, it shows that SQL file will terminate when there is a failed statement, and when there is a green arrow, it will show that SQL will be keep on executing even though it gets some failed queries. And this button is used to commit all the queries which are written, and this is to roll back. When you commit, example, you committed something wrong, you can click on this button and it will revert it. And this button toggle auto commit code. In when this mode is enabled, it will commit all the SQL queries written automatically, and this limits the number of rows when which is automatically applied when we use select query, because sometimes databases have a lot of rows, so we have to limit all the things which are shown in our SQL. Sometimes you can also increase the limit to up to 500,000, but let it remain 10,000 only. And snippets. Sometimes this is used to snip the most important SQL queries which are most important for you. Just imagine you have some SQL queries which you execute on a daily basis. You can snip them here, and it will there will be a snippet tab which you from where you can access those SQL queries. And this button, it beautifies all the SQL code which is written on your workbench. And this opens a search panel, and you can search something you want. And this button displays all those invisible characters just like tab, spaces, new lines. And this button wraps the long lines of code so that it avoids horizontal scrolling. And in this main toolbar, the most important things are this will create a new SQL tab to execute queries, and this will open an SQL script file in a new query tab. It will open a SQL script file in a new query tab. So a new tab will be opened. Just there is query one, a new query tab will be opened. And this cylinder button, as I told you, it will be used to create a new schema, and this will be used to create a new table in the active schema. By active schema, it means the currently selected schema will be used to create a table. And this button will be used to create a view in the active schema, new view. So these were the most important toolbars that you needed to know. Now let me tell you about object browser. Now when I click on these databases, let me click on sys database. As you can see, when I click on sys database, the schema says sys. Now when I click on tables, it will show me, as you can see, it showed me some values and properties about that table. So this is an important feature in the MySQL. So when you click on it, you will see a lot of things and a lot of things. So this is an important feature in SQL which tells you what is in the table and what are the properties of the things which are in this table and in this schema. Now I'm going to tell you another important feature of MySQL. So it has a capability of generating statements. So just imagine you want to insert data into a table. I will right click on that table, and I will go to the copy to clipboard options. Now here are a lot of statements which you can copy. like select all, update statement, create statement, delete statement. But as I took example of insert statement, I will click on insert statement, and now that has been copied to my clipboard, and now I will just paste it. Now you just need to edit the values of what you want to insert into that table, and it will be pretty easy and time saving for you. And now let me also tell you about another thing, which is importing and exporting data. If I want to import data to sys, I will right click and table data import wizard, and I can give the file path browse, and I can import data to the sys database. And if I want to export data from a table, I will right click on the table, and I will click on table data export wizard, and I can export this data to wherever I want. So these were the important features of MySQL. Now I will tell you one more feature for today. And first, we will select a database for which we want to work. So whenever you are going to work on a database, first you thing you will do, you will use sys command. You will use command, and then you will select the database, and then you will run it. And after that, you will run the table you want to edit. And after that, you will run the query you want to execute. So let me select all from sys config, and let me execute everything. So now you can see a lot of data has been there. And the last feature I wanna tell you is that you can edit the data and results from the result panel only. So as you can see, this is the result grid, and to edit the data, let me just edit it to 7. And now I will click on this apply, and you can see this SQL query will be executed, which it is showing me. Now I will just apply, and I now you can see the new data has been executed. And if I run these commands again, now here is the thing. So this was the MySQL guide I wanted to tell you. Thanks.